Hello, I'm Filip Davidse, and in this tutorial I'd like to talk about playing low notes on the saxophone. We know as saxophone players that low notes are more difficult than high notes. Well, it makes sense, because if you play a low note, a low C, the air has to go all the way to the lower end of the saxophone. And the lower you get, the wider the saxophone gets. So you have to compensate for that by using a stronger, very controlled breath. Well, what often happens is when playing a low note is that instead of a low note you get a high note, usually an octave higher. For example, I'll play this low C again. And this might happen. Sounds familiar? This was actually a C but an octave higher. So like a C in the middle. So why does this happen? Well, of course, having a very stable and controlled way of breathing and blowing into the saxophone is very important. But another thing is your embouchure. That means the way you control your mouth, your lips, your tongue, and the way you hold the reed and the mouthpiece. If you squeeze too hard in the reed, like this, then the note will go up. This sounds very simple, but it's actually more difficult to control in practice. For example, if I squeeze on purpose too hard in the reed, the low note will go up. So I did it on purpose. I started out in the correct way with the low note, then I started squeezing and the sound went up. So this means that if you squeeze a little bit all the time, then it's very difficult to play those low notes. You're playing something in the middle, you get something like that. In the middle, squeezing doesn't really matter. But for the low notes, you have to be very relaxed. And this immediately leads to an exercise which you can do. A very useful and quite easy exercise. And it is, you take a low note, the C or the D or whatever, and you experiment with just how much you need to squeeze in the reed, how much you need to close your mouth, press your mouth together, bite with your teeth in your lower lip. And you just vary that more and less, and then you will notice at some point that you can move the sound up and down. I'll demonstrate. Or another note. These changes were just made by me biting, squeezing more into the reed. The note will become higher, and you will notice exactly how much you need to relax your mouth to get that low note. And if you relax your mouth, the distance between the mouthpiece and the reed will become bigger. That also means that it's more easy to blow more air into the saxophone. And for those low notes, you need a little bit more air. So, that's very helpful. Another thing is your breathing technique. If it's not really okay, then playing low notes can also be very difficult. But for the breathing, I refer you to my tutorials about breathing. Okay, thank you.